meant to be adaptable. It's not
their
just
training
recording
wheels, although
things.
they are.
Stop.
I hope the robot's okay after that fall with their first AI humanoid robot.
Some people have seen it as Chinese propaganda promoting this and it being so spectacular.
Because the progress from last year to this year, it just kind of hits you over the head.
There would be more humanoid robots on this planet than actual human beings. So I think
February 16th, 2026, China's Spring Festival Gala. 1 billion people are watching a battalion of G1 humanoid robots take the stage. 50 synchronized humanoid robots march onto the stage. They performed a synchronized kung fu routine, kicks, strikes, balances, on the country's biggest stage. They have finally bridged the uncanny valley. These weren't million-dollar lab prototypes from Silicon Valley. These were mass-produced machines costing only $16,000 each. In one night, the normal system of robotics was dismantled. The world where high-performance machines were rare, fragile, and astronomically expensive? It's gone. Before 2021, the industry lived in an ivory tower. If you wanted a robot that could run, jump, or survive a kick, you were likely looking at a multi-year R&D program. The gold standard was Boston Dynamics. They spent 30 years refining the most advanced legged robots in the world. Their flagship Spot was a marvel, but it cost $75,000. The experts assumed legged robots were a scientific curiosity decades away from the mass market. They relied on complex hydraulics and aerospace components that couldn't be scaled. They weren't trying to make robots cheap, they were trying to make them perfect. But while industry leaders were perfecting machines for research labs, a student in a Shanghai dormitory was asking a different question. Why does a robot have to cost so much? Wang Xingxing was born into a middle-class family in Ningbo, Zhejiang province. From an early age, he was obsessed with taking things apart and building them back differently. As a child, he built a wind-powered car. In middle school, he experimented with a miniature jet engine. By high school, he was studying rechargeable batteries, a project that felt almost unbelievable to his classmates. Teachers admired his ingenuity. But his grades told a different story. He struggled deeply with English. He once recalled that a middle school English teacher told his parents he was not very intelligent. Because of this imbalance, his college entrance score fell short of his dream school, Zhejiang University. Instead, he enrolled at Zhejiang University of Technology. Not long after entering university, he suddenly decided he would build a robot from scratch. Few people believed it was possible, but he did. To him, nothing was impossible. With no proper lab equipment, he used hand drills, files, and scrap materials. With almost no money, he bought parts for about $1.3 and scavenged the rest. For roughly $30, he built a small, two-legged robot. That was the turning point. After graduating, Wang pursued a master's degree in mechanical engineering at Shanghai University. By then, he had become convinced that small, high-performance electric quadruped robots represented the future. In 2015, he delayed graduation to enter his robot, Xdog, into a robotics design competition. He won second prize and around $12,000, his first significant income. Xdog was praised for demonstrating a new direction: high-performance quadrupeds built with electric systems, but at far lower cost. At the time, the giants of robotics were obsessed with hydraulics. They believed robots needed heavy, pressurized fluid systems to handle the impact of jumping. These were hydraulic cathedrals, loud, leaking, multi-million-dollar liabilities that required a team of PhDs just to keep them from falling over. Wang had no funding. He had no access to high-end infrastructure. He was a student in a dorm with a scholarship and a single belief: technology is only real when a graduate student can afford it. Working in isolation, he built Xdog. It was the first high-performance electric quadruped in China. Because he couldn't afford hydraulics, he was forced to innovate with electric motors. That constraint became his greatest weapon. Electric was simpler, and crucially, it was cheap. After graduation, Wang was offered a high-prestige job at DJY. But Wang eventually walked away from DJY to start Unitree in a garage. He wasn't trying to build a better robot than Boston Dynamics. He was trying to build a robot that people could actually buy. The first blow landed in 2021. The industry floor for a robot dog was $50,000. Unitree launched the Go 1 for $2,700. That's not a price cut. That's nearly a 95% price collapse. Western rivals called it a cheap imitation. They missed the mechanism that made it possible. Vertical actuator sovereignty. In traditional robotics, the joints, the motors and gearboxes are the most expensive parts. Most companies buy them from high-end suppliers in Japan or Europe. They pay a massive markup. Wang realized that if you don't own the motor, you don't own the robot. Unitree achieved actuator sovereignty by manufacturing its own M-series motors in-house. They integrated the motor, driver, and gear reducer into a single housing. They weren't just assembling robots. They were manufacturing the core physics of movement. This shifted the robot from a scientific instrument to a consumer electronic device. It created a scaling engine. The sales of small robot dogs funded the development of giant humanoids. By 2023, Unitree had shipped more legged robots than the rest of the industry combined. But the price was only half the battle. To scale, they needed software-defined elasticity. Old-world robots needed physical springs or heavy hydraulic dampers to walk on uneven ground. It was heavy and expensive. Unitree replaced that physical complexity with a high-frequency software loop. The robot's motors sense ground impact through electrical current. Instead of a metal spring absorbing a shock, the software instantly adjusts the motor's resistance to simulate a soft leg. This moves the competition from mechanical engineering to a battle of compute. You don't need to change the hardware to make it climb stairs better. You just push a software patch. By 2024, the focus shifted from dogs to humans. The H1 and G1 humanoids proved Unitree was moving past the toy market. They were targeting industrial labor. They did this by leveraging the Hangzhou industrial cluster. 80% of Unitree's suppliers are within a 2-hour drive. While a Western startup waits weeks for a custom part, Unitree iterates in 24 hours. This is the toy-to-tool pipeline. The joint motors perfected for mass-market dogs are simply scaled up for the humanoid frames. But as they scaled, they hit a new bottleneck: intelligence. A robot dog that can walk is a toy. A robot that can navigate a crumbling building is a tool. But training a robot to climb stairs is notoriously difficult. It used to take years of manual tuning, engineers writing thousands of lines of code for every possible scenario. Unitree's solution: the sim-to-real data flywheel. Instead of hard-coding physics, they moved the training into the virtual world. Using Nvidia's simulation environments, they trained their robots for millions of hours in a single afternoon. The robot learns to walk by falling down 10 million times in a digital world where there is no repair cost. And they didn't do this alone. By selling their hardware for $3,000 to every university on Earth, they turned the global academic community into their R&D department. Researchers at MIT, Stanford, and Oxford were writing code for Unitree robots because they were the only ones they could afford to crash. Unitree released open SDKs, watched what the researchers built, and harvested the best algorithms for their next generation. The world was teaching their robots how to move for free. But as that 2026 gala showed, the escalation has turned dangerous. Unitree is no longer just a startup. It's a national mandate. The reaction has been massive. The U.S. House Select Committee has flagged Unitree as a national security risk. There is a fear that a fleet of low-cost autonomous robots could be used for more than just warehouse work. And a new rival has entered the arena: Tesla. The Optimus program is the only thing that matches Unitree's manufacturing obsession. The battlefield has shifted. It's no longer, can a robot walk? It's who owns the ecosystem. Unitree now faces the Nvidia bottleneck. Their robots currently rely on Western chips. If export controls tighten, these machines could be lobotomized overnight. Conversely, Western firms are realizing that while they own the software, they have lost the ability to build the hardware at scale. The synchronized Kung Fu performance at the 2026 Gala was a victory lap. but it was also a mask. Beneath the movements, the tension remains. The robots can dance, but can they think independently of the chips they are no longer allowed to buy? Can they perform tasks as complex as a human hand, or will they remain high-speed athletic marvels that can't actually fold the laundry? The era of the laboratory robot is dead. The era of the mass-produced humanoid has begun. And for the first time in history, the assembly line isn't anchored in an old industrial capital. It now lives inside Hangzhou's 30-minute supply chain, waiting for the next chip, the next algorithm, and the next constraint. This story isn't about whether robots are coming. It's about who controls the hardware and who writes the intelligence that moves it.